How you doing, everybody? Angel here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I am with Mr. Cormac from JDM Sport Classics. How you doing, sir?
How are you doing, Angel? Pleasure to have you out to the shop here today.
Thank you very much. It has been a very enjoyable journey. We made it, some hours of drive, but it has been worth every moment of it.
Well, just excited. I've been talking with these guys for a long time. We obviously brought in a couple of Skylines, and it's just a pleasure to have them out to the shop and make this video and hopefully inform some people about, the process that it takes to actually buy a JDM car.
Perfect. So today's video purpose is to inform everybody, as he stated. We have put a list together of the top 5 most common asked questions that I'm sure you get quite often, if not on a daily basis. So first question we're going to go with is, how do you source your inventory?
That is actually one of the most common questions I get on an almost daily basis. And our process is a little bit different in that we have full-time staff based in Japan. Okay. And we actually have a facility in Nagoya, whereas cars are stored awaiting shipment. Now we piece our cars together through multiple different avenues. Number 1 would be obviously the Japanese car auctions. Number 2 would be dealers. And number 3 would be private sellers. Okay. My brother actually spends about 6 months of the year out there, and he's a very, very experienced buyer of JDM cars. He's exported a lot of these to Ireland, New Zealand, and Australia, and now of course the USA. So our process is a little bit different in that every single one of our cars gets thoroughly mechanically inspected, and it has to meet our standards before we're willing to actually purchase and export here into the United States.
Okay, so that is very informative. We're going to go ahead and move on to our second most common question asked is, what finance options do you have for JDM cars?
So obviously, like most JDM dealers, we don't actually offer in-house finance.
Okay.
However, we have a network of classic car lenders that specialize in the kind of cars that we import. So you've got option number 1 would be Lightstream. Okay. You've got option number 2, which would be JJ Best Bank. And then of course option number 3, which would be Collector Car Lending. Now also, we've had a lot of people finance through USAA, Navy Federal Credit Union, and then a lot of our rural mail carriers, they get financed through Atlanta Federal Postal Credit Union. Oh, okay. So there is actually a lot of options out there for financing cars at very, very good rates.
That is very good information to have. What we're going to do, we're going to put a description of every single one of these financial institutions in the description. So if you want to look up at the rates, if you could potentially get approved by anything before you even, or give them a call, and he'll probably be able to lead you to a better, what solution will work better for you. But we're going to put every one of them in the description. And
we also have a link on our website. If you check out the financing page, we have the details about each company, the criteria that they require for approval, and then a link to their website where you can just go ahead and straight up fill the application out. Also, feel free to email or call us anytime, because we're always there available to answer a phone call or a question of any kind.
All right, moving on to our next question is, what kind of maintenance or inspection do you perform to your cars?
Well, this might be the most important question that we get asked, because we spend on average about $2,000 per unit that we import on maintenance and reconditioning. So obviously, as I explained earlier in the video, we have these cars thoroughly inspected in Japan prior to purchase, so we know exactly what we're coming in. We want only the cream of the crop to make it into our dealership, Mm-hmm. But as regards when the car comes here, it goes through an 80-point inspection, which includes all the major components of the engine, transmission, suspension, and the electrics. And then the guys will diagnose any issues that they may see, like we've replaced clutches, rear diffs, new tires, fluid change, you name it. We go through all the components of the car to make sure that the vehicle that someone's buying here is going to last for another 25 years.
And that is good. I believe that is probably one of the most critical things, well, in my opinion, because having that peace of mind that something that you're acquiring has been thoroughly inspected and it has JDM's seal of approval, to me is a big plus.
Exactly. And another thing that you have to factor in as well, that these are classic cars. They're 25 plus years old. Mm-hmm. So it's vital that they do actually get a level of reconditioning. They need it, and mm-hmm. That's what we do here. We've got trained technicians that work on these cars, and they restore them back to their original self, Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is one question that I will assume that it is asked quite often later on the part of the deal, but what insurance companies do you recommend?
So, that's obviously a question that we get a lot, because a lot of people want to get the VIN number, so they can start running quotes and just see what it's going to cost. Mm-hmm. Now, the companies that I always recommend are State Farm, Haggerty, Geico, and Progressive. Obviously, JDM cars don't have a standard 17-digit USDM VIN, so some companies' system can't process these. But when you work with Geico, Progressive, State Farm and Haggerty, all of these companies can insure, and they've insured the vast majority of all the inventory I've ever sold here. Of course, there are some other companies that insure these cars as well, but these are the primary ones that we work with, and that's just, I feel, the best option for most people.
Okay. All right, and this one, I can say it kind of applied to me to an extent, but are JDM cars worth the investment?
This is one that's very near and dear to my heart because obviously I have a lot of passion for this industry and for JDM cars in general. But when it comes down to brass tacks, dollars and cents, are they worth the investment? And I can say resoundingly that they absolutely are worth the investment. There's actually currently an article out on Bloomberg now that talks about the appreciation in JDM cars year over year. So they tend to appreciate in value at about 10 to 12% a year. So we're looking at the economics here of supply and demand. There's a really, really high demand for these cars, but supply is so limited. And the cars typically do increase in value every single year. So we're seeing that more and more. Prices of GTRs and Celica GT4s, they just keep going up every single year. And they're a lot of fun as well. So how many investments do you have that are fun to drive and that they go up in value every year?
Not many. I can't say not many. All right, so with all that information being given, I hope it helps anybody that is watching. That if you have any interest in purchasing a JDM car, this is very critical points that it will come across you at any point in the process. If you have any further questions, feel free to call them at the phone number.
It's 269-348-5520.
Or you can visit the website, which is
www.jdmsportclassics.com.
And at any given time, you can also email them, which is...
And our email is info@jdmsportclassics.com.
So I personally speak on this. Any question that I had throughout 3 months of asking questions, they were always very helpful, very informative. Every question that we had, it was, we had a solid answer. We encourage you. We highly recommend what these guys do here. And again, any questions, feel free to reach out to them. You will not be disappointed. So thank you very much for watching. Cormac, what a pleasure.
Absolute pleasure to have you and your brother Elias out to the shop today. Let's go have some fun in some of these cars.
Team 4. You all be safe. Take care of each other.